also feel weird. Like, I'm like, you didn't do anything. And now I have to like get rid of the left one. Yeah.
Was that did you have a favorite?
Yeah, that one's probably why this one like wronged me.
Another episode of Girls Gotta Eat.
Welcome back. Soak it up because next week is a week off.
You were going to say it's cancer season.
I know. I tricked you.
This is a big week. Today is Bill Greenberg's birthday.
What?
And then we get a week off.
We get a week off, you guys. So soak this up. Play it twice. Whatever you got to do. 1 week. We have a week off. First time in ever.
3.5 years.
In ever.
Have you guys ever started a job and never had a week off? We have.
And it is my birthday week next week. We never thought this would happen. I'm like, we never thought this would happen.
What if we were crying? We're like, we just want to thank you guys for all love and support.
We just wanted a day off.
It's the season finale.
And then
we come back 2 weeks later.
Sales manager, who we love, and she's the one that got us this special week off. She's the MVP of the company. She wrote in like our schedule, Girls Gotta Eat on hiatus.
Yeah, she made it real aggressive.
On hiatus, 1 week.
The 1 week in 4 years.
And we had a bonus last week.
Okay.
Guys, we're recapping Rayna's birthday today, and I don't know if you're ready. I truly don't know.
I don't know if I'm ready.
I know it's like your birthday, you guys weren't there, whatever, but like it was... I can't. Okay. I'm getting too hype. We have a few announcements first.
Yeah. So first of all, we are planning like a great tour for the rest of this year. I'm really amped about it. So we've been talking to our agents about some really amazing venues. We're going to try to get all those dates and release them as many as possible up front.
Yes. And probably now that we have the 5th off. So I'm just going to say we're going to have these dates by the 12th for you guys.
Ooh.
Announced in the podcast. However, you can sign up for the newsletter and get them before that.
Oh my God, the newsletter.
Sign up, go to the girlsgotteatpodcast.com, sign up for the newsletter. You will see tour dates there first. You're going to get on those tickets first.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I can't believe it. We have some huge theaters coming up. A lot of stuff, really our dreams are coming true. A lot of stuff that we'd planned for 2020. And I'm so proud and excited. So we'll announce those as soon as possible. Yes, get on the newsletter. The stuff that we can announce. We have Philly. We added a 3rd show, 10 p.m. Saturday night, July 17th at the Fillmore. And then we are going to JFL Escapes Cancun in November.
Yes.
This is a really cool, one of a kind, like comedy festival. It's in Cancun. They are renting out an entire resort November 3rd through the 7th. It is just nonstop comedy, and we are a part of it.
Yes. And it's such a cool experience to just be all together, like, I don't know, maybe you guys will run into us in the elevator. Like last time we were in JFL in Montreal, Rayna ran into a guy in the elevator and she fucked him that night.
I did.
And it was incredible. And he was one of the hottest men I've ever seen.
Wow.
Did that start your Australia tour of men? I know you had fucked your neighbor before that. He was the middle one.
But definitely the hottest, I think, by far.
Oh my God.
Covered in tattoos. If you guys remember, I see he had the book Sapiens in his hand.
Yes.
And I told you guys, you cannot lose recommending that book. Just pick up that book, go to the park. You cannot get hit on. I promise you. I was on my roof the other night. I saw a hot guy. I looked across the roof. Sure enough, reading Sapiens.
And I don't know if we ever said this, but when you fucked him later that night, he did have to use his inhaler.
Got that. Nothing really brings a man down to earth. He was like a celebrity comedian, covered in tattoos, 2 full sleeves, gorgeous. He got up in the middle of sex.
Rayna fucked him so good he had to gasp for air. He was gasping for air.
Yeah, that's
There's
the
something
story.
so funny about that. I remember when you told me that, I lost my mind. And he had to grab his inhaler.
I thought he was going to get like a sex toy. It was 4 a.m. Neither of us came.
Right.
I didn't fuck him. I probably didn't fuck him that good. He probably was like, that girl could barely move. So JFL Cancun, all inclusive. Jim Jeffries is going to be there. Tom Segura, Nikki Glazer, Nicole Byer,
Jay Farrow, Donald Rawlings. Girls Gotta Eat. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's all inclusive, you can go to our website, get that. It's also at pollen.co. It's POLLEN.co. You can also go to our website, girlsgottapodcast.com, shop the merch. This is probably the last week or two to get the merch that we have.
Yeah.
And as always, guys, please keep tagging us in your Instagram stories. We love the promo, and leave a 5-star rating on iTunes. I haven't asked in a while, but it means a lot. So please keep doing 5-star ratings for us.
Do it. Just click the 5 stars.
And don't click anything else.
just that's it. And then just keep it moving. Oh, did you say Spotify playlist?
No.
Oh, and the Spotify playlists, which we drop one every week. There's like 5 or 6 there now. And those are just going to be playlists with episodes and music that goes with the episode. So last week it was like music to have sex to, and then episodes that are going to improve your sex life overall. There's all kinds of stuff in there. So search for us on Girls Gotta Eat. And usually we have like the link in our story at some point during the week. So if you have trouble, just let somebody know in the comments. They'll figure it out.
Listen, guys, I barely know how to use Spotify.
Yeah.
If you're an OG fan, you know why. Because I'm on that Napster train.
Rhapsody.
But even I could find it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I went to Girls Gotta Eat. I went to profiles and I found
your own profile.
I found my own profile. It was there. So we're going to unpack my birthday. We're going to talk about Cruel Summer, which you guys asked us to watch. And we're going to get into it with the world famous Jenny Jones.
Yes, Jenny Jones. She was here. I'll just say this up top. Like, we have an episode with her today. It's great. We are talking about, you probably saw it in the episode description, we are talking about breast cancer today with her, and kind of her journey, what she's been dealing with. And she was here. She came and recorded with us. She stayed in the studio. She was our first studio guest. I was like at Target at 10 p.m. the night before getting like washcloths and towels and a shower curtain. You know, I got a clear shower curtain. And so she stayed in the studio and she was our little house guest, and she was at your birthday. And yeah, you're going to talk about your birthday, but she played an integral part in the funniest thing that happened at your birthday. So we'll get to it. Okay. You want to chat about it?
This is really my favorite birthday that I've ever had, like by far and above. I'm not a huge birthday person, but I do like to have all my friends around me. So our friend Rob found this. We were looking to do a boat. Our friend Rob found this, and then Ashley contacted them.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Rob and I collabed on the search. And he just found a thing, and I was in touch with them, multiple calls, and then I turned it over to you. I was like, I'm done here. We're gonna book the Cosmo.
It was really one of the cool. So Ashley and I looked at a lot of boats, or Ashley looked at a lot of boats, and they were really exorbitantly expensive, and didn't necessarily come with a lot. The one that we found, it's through Empire Cruises. We took the Cosmo out. I'm sure you guys will DM and ask.
The name of the boat. That's the name of the boat. Yeah.
But it was open bar. They provided a great menu. They gave me a million options for the menu. Photo booth, DJ. We had exactly 50 people, but you could have 200, I think. And okay, if you guys like live in New York or literally anywhere, you know it's like Bale City for all events. People are just like last minute, always like, I'm not coming. I can't come. This turned out to be an 80-degree, sunny, beautiful, no humidity day. And all of a sudden, every person was like, my girlfriend can suddenly come. My boyfriend can come. Can I bring 2 friends? Everyone showed up. It was a star-studded Girls Gotta Eat event.
It really was. Yeah.
Francis was there. Hannah Berner. Who else? Mike Feeney, Mike Cannon,
Ashley Gavin,
Julio Gallerati, Dylan. Tons of former guests, and Jenny obviously was there. And all of our friends. It really was like the most special night for me. We ended the night. The captain came over to me and said, "We're going to stay out for an extra 20-25 minutes. There's fireworks tonight," and we were directly under the fireworks in New York City.
Okay. So people thought first of all, your boyfriend was in the boat. This is funny. Your boyfriend was in the boat, but yet people still thought I got you those fireworks.
I know.
So people were coming up to me and going, Ashley, oh my God, you got fireworks for Rayna. I'm like, do you guys, listen, I'm successful. Do you know how much fireworks cost? That's like a town's budget. Like if there's like a town that has had like a bad year, they like don't do the fireworks. Like it's like part of a city budget. It's so expensive. Only the richest people have that at like their weddings and stuff. Like fireworks are so expensive. Like you can set off firecrackers and stuff, but like a real fireworks display that's going off of a boat in the middle of the water off of Manhattan is so much money. People just casually, Ashley, that was so sweet. What?
Do you guys see how many FDNY boats are in the water around, like just to get the FDNY in the water?
Exactly.
So Ashley rolls like that.
I was just flattered, honestly. But that was just so great that they knew that there were going to be fireworks, and then they were like, "We're gonna Azul, stop, Azul." He wants to talk in the mic.
He was making noises.
He's a little whiner. That's just him communicating. So yeah, it was really special. And then Rayna keeps holding the mic to him. He's upset he wasn't at the birthday. Azul, why don't you get down? So yeah, and then you said you came up to me and you were like, we're going to stay out for another like 20, 25 minutes. We're going to see fireworks, and then I'm going to bring everyone downstairs. So the boat's double decker. So there's the deck. We pretty much stayed on the deck the whole time. And then there's like the middle is like a dance floor with the DJ and stuff and the food and the bar, which I think if we had like another hour, maybe people would have hit the dance floor. But it was such a perfect night, like weather wise. You don't want to miss anything. You know, we were right by the Statue of Liberty. Like you just don't want to, like, everybody just wanted to be up on the top deck.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's New York City, as the sun is setting and whatever. And hot take, it's beautiful. So everybody's upstairs all night. You made a playlist, unbelievable. The DJ, unbelievable. Ashley, the DJ.
So I like to let DJs do their job. You know, I think it's insulting to be like, let me take it from here. You know, like it's like we hired you. I'm not going to send you a playlist to hit play on, because if not, like, why do we hire you? You know what I mean? Like I never want to like be condescending to a DJ, but like you got to have your own vibes. And so I emailed the DJ and was like, I said, here's what we're looking for. Like pop, current, and you can do some 90s, 2000s hip hop and rap. No 80s or anything before, no country. And then here are the artists we like. And I listed like 20 artists. And it was obviously like Beyonce, Drake, J Balvin, Ozuna, because Rayna loves that kind of music. Yeah. Cardi, Megan Thee Stallion. Amazing. Yeah. All
right. I derailed your story. The best part of the night.
Okay. Do you want me to tell it?
Yeah, please.
Oh my God. Okay. So Rayna's like, right before we get off the boat, we do have to go downstairs and I want everybody to crowd around like the dance floor and I'm going to give a speech. So she starts, actually, and you even said this, you pointed this out, you weren't like slurring.
I was shockingly coherent.
You sounded great. Wild. You were really lucid, because we'd all been like drinking for hours. Yeah. And you were like, thank you guys for coming. This has been such a wonderful night. Everybody was crowded around, like everybody came down and like did as they were told. And you're like, we've had such a great night. And you congratulated a few people. You were like some friends that just got engaged. You mentioned our friend Louisa, who just graduated from grad school. You said like, thanks to Ashley, thanks to Rob. You did your thank yous and stuff. And you were kind of like winding down this really great speech, and Jenny yells, "Show your tits!" And a hush fell over the crowd. We were like, what? And then everybody was like, yeah, do it. And like, I feel like everybody was like, she should show her tits. And then everybody looks over at you.
Everybody starts cheering, show your tits.
Like it took a minute. We took a beat and they were like, can she do this? Her boyfriend's here. And so we look over and
I look at him and I'm like, can you help me out here, please?
And he has his hands in the air, like fist pumping, like, show your tits. So everybody starts yelling, show your tits. And Rayna, I have this on video. I've watched it so many times. Her face was like, I want to, but I got to figure this out logistically. And you're like smiling, you're holding the mic and you're like, how can I make this happen? I feel like you look nervous. And then you were wearing a bodysuit with shorts and a jacket. So all you could do was
and it came up really high. Ashley came back with a high-necked bodysuit.
She just had to reach in and pull out one. And it just like came out. It like fell out. She presented it to the crowd. Just the one.
I like ripped it out of my shirt.
Yes. I mean, I just don't want anybody to think that like Rayna was, being prudish or like you only get one or like a tease. Like you literally couldn't get them out. Like the only thing you could have done, like we were joking about this, is like pulled them in the middle of your tits like a wrestling singlet, like with your bodysuit. Like you hear somebody else show your tits and you just like lift your top up or you pull it down, but like you physically could not do that. You had to, like your mind, the gears were turning of like, how can I pull out a titty?
Well, at first I looked at my boyfriend to be like, you know me out here, I don't want to do this. And his full going, do it. He was so enthusiastic. I mean, it was so funny.
So she just pulled out one. She was so happy about it. It was, Hannah and I were on the floor crying at the like presentation of just one tit. And so I have to read you the funniest text with Francis. Like the next day we were just recapping the boat. Everybody was just dying, texting each other. Like we were just like, the group chats were so lit, like recapping this birthday. And I said, he goes, the DJ's reaction to Rayna pulling out her boob, I'll never forget it. Okay, give it up for Rayna. Wow.
He was
give it up for Rayna,
50-year-old gentleman.
And I said, I didn't hear that. I said, that was one of the funniest things in my life, the way she just presented one tit. And he goes, it was as though she was about to breastfeed. He said, she fished it out and dared us all to have a problem with it. Fished it out.
It was violent. I like ripped it out of the armhole of my body too.
I was like, oh my God, breastfeed just made me double over. And he said, like, it wasn't a flash. It was a gentle unboxing.
I love him. It wasn't gentle. It was violent. I like ripped her out of there.
But it was like, it was just the fact that there was just one, and it just like, you know, it tumbled out because it's large. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
Thank you. I am shockingly lucid considering I've been drinking for 5 hours. I got to that boat an hour and a half before anybody else got there. And it was the best night. Francis said it was the best night of the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we all went out. Everybody went to the same bar, which like you can never get people to do that either. Mm-hmm. Packed, crowded bar. I Irish exited. No one even bothered to ask where I went. You all knew. I went to Joe's Pizza. I had a slice, met a bunch of fans, went home and had sex. And let me tell you, everyone got laid that night.
Including your girl.
I got laid that night. Good on ya.
I mean, yeah. And it's, you know, I got to say, like, we all went to, we end up at Penny Farthing a lot. This is a bar in the East Village. It's really young, like the crowd, but like whatever. We don't care. Like
we're pours in New York.
It's just really heavy pours, great bar food. Some of my favorite bar food in the city. Yeah. Nachos are on point. Breakfast sandwiches are on point, like chicken tenders. And it's just really big. Like, we choose it a lot because New York is small, like places are small. So when you have a big group, like every time my brother comes to town, we go there, you know, they have sports on and stuff, but like, it's such a good place to be like, we can all fit in here. Yep. So we all ended up at Penny Farthing, and that was the first time, because just the restrictions had just ended for COVID. That was the first time I've been in a no restrictions bar than just having it feel normal. Like I miss this. And so that was the kind of the first time that I was like, oh shit, I felt turned on by that alone. And I had been like talking to this guy. He was a friend of a friend. I'd met him before. This wasn't like a random I met on the boat. Obviously it was like all of our friends. So he came with another friend, and, I kind of had told our friend to bring him, honestly. So I manifested the whole thing in the first place. Like I'd met him before. He's cute. I was like, bring him. And sure enough, like it worked out in my favor. So yeah, we hooked up. It was good. It was like a fun night.
It was the best night of my life, honestly.
And it's just like, you know, someone I knew kinda wasn't, you know, like we've chatted since. I wouldn't, you know, it was what it was.
It's a birthday hookup.
Yeah. And I do feel like we owe the listeners an update on the window tap from the bonus episode. If you know, you know, everybody was freaking out and needed an update. I mean, there's no update. Like, I feel like we would have, you know, there was no update at the end of the episode, but, also this is a bonus episode with Jared from Thursday. If you guys listened, if you didn't, you don't know what we're talking about, but go back and listen, because it was such a special Girls Gotta Eat moment that you guys loved, but he didn't tap back. And then Jared said, like, leave it alone. Like, he told me what to do. Jared was like, if he doesn't tap back, he's dead to us. Mm-hmm. But then I just hooked up with somebody else and got like distracted. So that threw me off my focus. And I mean, I don't know, this guy's still on the internet. Maybe there'll be something slide. I don't know. I don't want to disappoint everybody, but like, I will tell you that he didn't tap back.
Yeah. Well, Jared was supposed to come to my birthday party the next day, and he bailed on the mission. So you had to bail on this mission. And honestly, I will say at the end of the day, I'm just glad you're okay. Because watching you deal with liking those, like the tears welling up in your eyes, the vomit welling up in your throat, I was like, she's not gonna get through this.
Well, it's funny because I was like, am I being too dramatic? I mean, I can be a little extra, but then people were saying
it's
like,
a lot.
They were like, I felt anxiety all day after watching that. People were messaging me. My best friend Kate goes, Ashley, I'm throwing up listening to this.
My friend Dara texted me. Our friend Dara texted me and said, I cannot believe Ashley actually did this. I'm going to throw up. Ashley is me. I never would have been able to get through this.
Like, people were like saying really nice, like supportive things. And like Jared, I mean, he's the board lord, but now he's our life coach.
Well, he's always been my life coach.
I know, but he was just, someone said they watched the part where he said, you can do this 5 times in a row, like on a loop. Like, Jared's their new hype man.
And then a bunch of girls slid into his DM.
Yeah, they did.
They got like real aggressive. We had a nice talk about all the girls that slid in. You guys really shot your shot. Good for you.
Tap, tap, bitch. But we do have a rec or a review.
Yeah, we have reviews, and we also have, we're going to tease future reviews so you guys can get ready for the future. But I'm very excited to talk about Cruel Summer.
Yes.
Should I give my other recs? I know I promised you guys I would watch The Housewife and the Hustler. I watched it, but Ashley is going to watch it, and then we'll unpack it together. So if you guys want to watch it in anticipation, I loved it. Can't
Where's that on?
Enough. It's on Hulu.
Oh, it's on Hulu?
ABC investigative journalism. I thought maybe this was like too soon to do this, but it wasn't. It was great. So if you guys want to watch that, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we're teasing our Rex now. So Housewife and the Hustler next week. So we're just going to do spoilers for Cruel Summer, like, because we just want to talk about the show. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want to hear spoilers, you can like skip ahead a few. We're going to try to keep this relatively short because we have a long episode today. But so spoiler alert. Okay.
Yeah. A brief synopsis, Cruel Summer. It takes place over 3 different summers. A girl gets abducted and she accuses another girl on national television of having seen her in the place she got abducted. That girl allegedly like stole that girl's boyfriend, her life, her friends, and all these things. So it's basically figuring out like who's lying. My hypothesis was there was some ending where neither of them were lying. That did not turn out to be the case.
I kind of thought the opposite when you said that. Like I saw where you were doing with that, but I kind of almost thought like I think they're both lying. You know what I mean? Like Jeanette is a little off, right? So like as a character, she just seems a little off. Like something's off, like which it was. I mean, at the very end, like again, we've said there were spoilers. So the very end is fucking insane. Like the very last second is like, oh my God, she like did know this whole time. I'm getting chills. It was the best ending I've seen in so long. We haven't stopped thinking about it. I like missed the show. I like want to restart it again and watch it from the lens of like knowing the truth. But it fit. They showed her as being a little bit weird. You know what I mean? Like this weird obsession. And then even when in the summer of 94, when she was like, you know, she had glowed up and she was going to the carnival looking for her. It was just fucking weird. Like she's a weird girl, you know?
Yeah,
so you want to root for her and you want to believe that Kate is like kind of the villain here. And they both are fucked up. Like they both lied. It was just a tricky situation because Kate went into that house willingly. Also, the guy, the abductor, the predator looks like Beto O'Rourke and I could not unsee it. I was like, is this Beto O'Rourke?
Oh my God, he really does.
It was like hard for me to see him he actually had like a really nice, kind face, which he didn't even have like crazy eyes. He looked like Beto O'Rourke. Like he was a bad guy, but it was like he didn't look like one. It was like so confusing. So I just thought that was funny that was like, I was like, oh, okay. So
yeah, you can't get it out of your head when you're watching it. That's so true. He does look like him, like exactly dead on. Really fantastic. Like it locked me in every single moment. Yeah. Even before the last 10 seconds of the movie, I was like, all right, that ending was like fine.
When they kissed,
like
they were
up.
Like,
the girls kiss and they're dancing around. I was like, ugh, this is so corny. I hate this. And then the last 10 seconds, I was like, holy shit.
Oh, I mean, it just changed everything. You just have to sit there and think about it.
Well, I thought it was fantastically cast, really well acted. I want to thank our audience because I wouldn't have watched it because I don't like the title. I thought the title was stupid and I was just like, Cruel Summer. And also like half of it takes place in September and October. It's not even summer. So I didn't like the title. I would have probably skipped it because of the title, but our audience was so emphatic that we watch it. So I watched it. I loved it.
I wouldn't have skipped it. When enough people tell me to watch something, I'm like, they know, people know what I like. Like, and also I'm a huge Jessica Biel fan. So I loved The Sinner. I've talked about this in the show before. The Sinner as a show, but especially season 1 that Jessica Biel is in it. But I think she was like a producer on that show. I just like when she's involved. I'm like a fan of what, I think she's a good actress, but in terms of the shows she works on. So The Sinner was fucking twisted and fucked up too. So I just like her style. And we didn't really ever review The Undoing because I watched it so much later than everybody else. I enjoyed it. The ending of The Undoing was just really anticlimactic and I felt kind of stupid, but I don't have a better idea for an ending. So I'm just going to leave it at that of like, I don't know what else I would have expected, but like something like this, like I'm like The Undoing should have taken notes on this. The way this ended, because it felt similar to The Undoing in that you're always trying to figure out who the bad guy is. Like you're in like this show, Cruel Summer, and like that's what the comparison there is. Like you're always trying to figure out who's lying, who's the bad guy. Oh wait, are they good? Are they bad? Like who's at fault here and stuff like that. So they're different type of shows completely, but trying to solve a crime and trying to figure this out. And then the way that this ended, like I can't get over it. Like it's such a fucking good show.
That's all I think about.
I think about it all the time.
Think about it all the time. It's amazing. And I would rewatch it. So thank you guys for recommending it. I probably wouldn't have leaned into it, but so many of you recommended it. So I could not watch it.
It's just one of those, I'm just like, we're all inside the bell curve. Like if a show is like blowing up and everybody loves it, I'm going to like it. I'm not some counterculture contrarian. I like what everybody else likes. I rarely dislike something that's popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, people just like, I'm not like other girls. I'm like every other girl.
I'm literally like
the
every
basic
girl.
bitch.
Yeah. Every time I meet girls that listen to this show, I'm like, I love them so much. And then I'm like, oh, you're like me.
Yeah.
You're just like a normal girl.
We're all the same.
Yeah. All inside of the bell curve.
Okay. Well, that is the Cruel Summer. We'll do
The Housewife and the Hustler.
And the Hustler next week if you guys want to follow along.
I mean, it has everything. It's financial crimes, it's celebrities, it's reality television. It's my favorite thing. It's on Hulu. Check it out. All right, guys. I am so excited to introduce our guest today. I'm raw dogging it. No notes. I'm just going for it. Ashley can't believe it. But I have so many nice things to say about this guest, but really she is a longtime friend of Ashley, turned friend of mine. She is a celebrity of the podcast. You guys have heard us talk about her for fucking years. She's been at 2 live shows. If you guys have come to the virtual live shows, she's been on them. We are so excited to welcome this big titty blonde bombshell to the show. Please welcome to Girls Gotta Eat, Jenny Jones.
Hi.
Yay! Also, she was a part of our Nashville show where she talked about, didn't your babysitter?
Fucking my babysitter.
Fucking your babysitter.
One of the funny, Jenny, you are
Not
such a
while
good
he was
writer.
my babysitter.
Not while he was her babysitter. After the fact. And
About 10 years later.
He took nudes, right, of you?
Yeah. He also wants to take nudes of me now.
I love that for
and
you.
do like a sculpture of my boobs.
Like
What'd you say about his bush, though?
It was like a giant monster bush. It looked like that beaker from like Muppets.
Yeah.
Oh, it was wiry. It was like pube hair.
It was
wiry pube hair.
Like it puffed out.
Yeah.
Like there's a movie where they unzip her, probably scary movie.
No.
and they
That
unzip
movie, Waiting, where she like pulls her pants off and she has that giant
just like
bush
puffs out.
Is that how it was?
Ryan
Yeah, is that what it was like?
Yeah. That's what it was like.
Well,
But,
Jenny,
like,
we've
also free
been
pictures.
talking about you for years on the show, and you're longtime friends of Ashley, so I'll let her like hype you up a little more, and tell you like your story together.
Okay, I'm so glad to tell this. So Jenny and I became friends on the internet, and guys, listen, Jenny's going to dominate this episode, so I'm just going to talk out of the way. I'm going to hype her. So I had this blog back in the day, and I was looking for contributors. I was like, I need to like have other writers for this blog, like starting in like the new year, whatever it was. I don't know, 2015. And a mutual friend of ours, she was like, my friend Jenny would be great. So Jenny, I think you just emailed me.
Emailed you like this very long email,
and it was
I was like, why
so
I should
funny
write for
the blog. And it was
But like you were looking for like experienced writers, and I was like, I've never written before.
but it was so funny, like just the email alone. And I was like, okay, so we collabed on this blog together called like, Are You Dating a Manchild?
Yeah, Are You Dating a Manchild? About like having your bed on the floor, like sports memorabilia on the walls.
Yeah. And so we wrote this blog, and like people loved it. I just remember, I think the lead photo was like a race car bed, like
and like the bottom was like a baby in a suit.
And then from then on, we just became friends. But
like internet friends
DM
before
friends,
you
email. We didn't have
me.
each other's numbers, right? So then I went on this date one night, this Tinder date. Literally, this guy was like, "Come meet me. I'm in town from Austin." This was just it's a weird story that this is like how I used to just live my life. I posted on Facebook again, 2015. I'm gonna go meet this Tinder guy at like 10 p.m. I'd been to an event earlier in the night. It was like 10 or 11 p.m. I'm gonna go meet this guy. Does anyone want to come? And my friend Dylan, who is a photographer who's done our shows, Dylan York, he was like, I'll come. So I go with this guy who's like 6'4", hot. And
You went with Dylan to your date?
Dylan came to the date because I was also like, I'm going to go meet a guy in Edgewood at 10, 10:30, probably 11. And so I was like, maybe protection's good, even though I wasn't looking for a guy, but the fact that he was like, I'll meet you. What am I doing? And it was like a weeknight. So I went out on this Tinder date with a stranger. Him and Dylan really hit it off. Like we all had a great time. We were throwing back pickleback shots at that one bar, Mother, and if that's still around. And anyway, this great night, Dylan was finally like, do you feel comfortable with me leaving you now? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. We were at Sister Louisa's. We had this crazy night, went home. We like fucked in his hotel room, like a lot.
Why didn't you bring him back to your place? If he was
Well,
like,
he
lived right
was
there.
staying at the DoubleTree.
Oh.
And I was like, I'll go back to the hotel.
good?
Always hotel.
The DoubleTree downtown Atlanta was nice. They had the cookies.
Well, I'm always trying to fuck at a hotel. I'm never trying to have you come to my
I
place.
didn't
on a
know if
first
it was like
date.
similar to a Ramada Inn or something.
It was pretty nice. It wasn't
we like the DoubleTree.
Yeah, we like a
not
DoubleTree.
to like slam Ramada Inn.
No, they just have cookies. We love a Ramada too. Where do we
Well-
stay? Radisson or a Ramada?
We stayed at the Ramada by the Salt Lake City airport. Anyway, so I fucked this guy all night in his hotel room. Like, it was wild. He made a huge dick. I woke up and I was like, I couldn't like barely walk. And I was like, what a night. And I just remember like walking by the mirror on the way out on the DoubleTree and like peace signing it. Like, I'm killing it. Grabbed a cookie on the way out. And then I was like, this guy lives in Austin and I want to see him again. So Jenny and I had not exchanged numbers yet. And I like DM'd her or whatever. Was like, hey, can I get your number? Can we like text? And I was like, I met this guy in Austin. He wants me to come visit him. And you're the only person I know who lives in Austin. And immediately I'm telling her that I like fucked this guy from Tinder. And she goes, I went to this event last night and like fell over into a trash can or something. I was like, I love this bitch so much.
It was an ice bucket. I sat on it and fell straight backwards into it. My tit fell out. It was a work event.
So I was like, we're already like having this like hangover trading stories moment. And I was just like, I love this girl. So I was like, I'm going to come visit this guy. And Jenny was like, you can stay with me if you like feel weird staying with him or something. So we made plans. I was going to go visit her, never met her in person. And then I got a boyfriend and Jenny could like see it on in social media. And I had booked a flight to come see her in, I think March or April of 2015. And I got this boyfriend. It was pretty serious. And Jenny was like texting me. There was like the cutest text one day. She was like, are you still going to come to Austin? And I was like, yeah, bitch, we're going to be friends. So I went with her. I went to Austin, never met her. I was also a little scared. Like I knew her enough, but like I went with my friend Brandon to kind of like pregame meeting Jenny because I was like, what if it's awkward? Like I don't know her.
It's a good call. Also, people
felt like a Bumble date where I was like,
yeah,
like,
people can catfish you on the internet. They can be funny on the internet, and they're like not fun and funny in person. There's people. Tons of people with weird meme accounts that are great. They're the weirdest people you'll ever meet.
yeah.
also like,
Or sorry, the weirdest people you'll ever meet. The greatest.
Days.
Huh?
You were also staying for like 3 days.
I
though,
slept,
so I was
like,
like,
yeah.
it wasn't a Bumble date where you're like,
was
hey, bye.
3
Like,
days.
it's
I
nice to
stayed there
meet you.
Saturday night, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So she comes and picks me up. I was at drinks with Brandon. I was like kind of loose. And then we just like partied all weekend. We had the best weekend of our lives. That guy came out and met us one night because I was like, maybe Jenny will like him. And I just remember he wore like an Under Armour tight shirt. It was weird. And nobody was into him. And I was like, I have a boyfriend now. He was like, what? I was like, bye.
Oh, you didn't tell him ahead of time?
I had said like we had trailed off talking.
Yeah.
We didn't stay, you know what I mean? Like it kind of, maybe I told him, maybe I didn't. I don't really remember. I probably said I'm dating somebody, but that's our friendship story. I stayed in Austin. We had the best weekend. She showed me such a great time. And then we've been friends ever since. And then she moved to Atlanta and then
Very shortly after.
yeah, very shortly after. And then, anyway, sorry, but
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else, but I mean, we were in Atlanta and then you moved here and then I moved away and we've stayed friends, even though we've lived in completely different cities. So,
and you live in Denver now.
I live in Denver now.
And you stopped in Nashville.
Stopped in Nashville. So I've gone Atlanta, Chicago, Austin, Raleigh, Nashville, now Denver.
We don't have to get into it like super much, but we do get emails from people that say like, I don't love where I'm living. Like, should I move? And it's like, I found my forever home. When I was 12 years old, I was like, I'm going to live in New York forever. This is my life. This is where I want to live. I've lived here for 14 years. Like, I've never been a nomad. So I can't give people like that kind of advice. But like, if somebody said to you, like, how do you like find the courage to like get up and go to another city?
I will say, like, at the beginning, when I was younger, I think I left cities because like I had a bad relationship or something. So that was definitely, like, I was like, this reminds me of things. There's too much, like, I need a fresh start. So that's what probably prompted it a bunch of the other times. But as far as, like, the last couple of moves, it's just, I feel like I've been looking for more of where I wanted to be versus where I was. Like, I used to drink a lot. Nashville was fun, but, like, Denver kind of has, like, nature. I love skiing.
Yeah, you're like an outdoorsy person. So, I mean, we're going to get into your whole story, but, like, you've been dating a ton out there.
It is Denver.
Do you feel like that?
I mean, it wasn't when
You're dating every night.
I have been
get to
dating like on a frenzy lately.
And is this a better city to date in? Did you ever move to a new city because you were like, I want to date in that city? Or you were like, this is the hobbies I like.
I went through a breakup and I was excited about the dating in Nashville. Nashville was like very young though. Like, and they were like, I want to go to a dive bar and get fucked up till 2:00 in the morning.
Okay.
Whereas this is more like, I actually want to go on a date.
Okay. So you're dating a ton. How are you meeting people?
Dating a ton, been on Bumble. I also got introduced like through a couple people to some people. Like a girl introduced me to her guy friend. And I found out, I was like, oh, how do you know her? And he was like, well, we had sex. And I was like, oh, like I didn't understand that was like part of it. I thought she was just like her guy friend. A lot of Bumble.
Interesting.
I just met her though. So I think it was kind of like high praise of like, you just met me and you have this great guy friend that you also had sex with and you want to introduce him to me after meeting me for like an hour.
Yeah.
I just ended a relationship that was probably off and on for a year and a half. It carried into me moving to Denver. Some things happened recently, but after that, yeah, I've just been dating. Like it's been freeing to kind of just date and not have this like, what the fuck are we doing on and off thing going on. Like it's been fun.
Jenny, I'm laughing because you date with like the freest style of anybody I know.
You're just like a free person. Tits are out, dating, moving wherever. So you're just like, you live your life in a very free, like do whatever the fuck you want way. Yeah, in the best way.
I asked you what time you got here and like, what did you say about your date last night?
Yeah, so I went on a date last night. This is our second date. I forgot I had tickets to a Red Rock show. And I had a red-eye flight here so I could get here for your birthday early. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to have to like either eat these tickets or go to this show by myself, go back, drive to the airport. My flight was at 1:00 in the morning. So I asked this guy, would you want to go to this concert with me on Wednesday after our first date on Monday? And afterwards, you can drive me to the airport. I even texted Ashley this last night and she was like, did he do it? And I just sent her a picture from Red Rock. She was like,
we're at the concert. Yeah.
Yep. So then he drove me to the airport. He fingered me in the cell phone lot.
Which is so funny because that's where like your dad waits to pick you up. You know, like all I think about is the cell phone lot is Lee Heseltine just waiting there to come pick me up.
Where are you?
Dick Jones. That's her dad's name, obviously. Dick and
Dick Jones. Waiting
what
for
were
me.
you wearing?
Rayna, what? Like she had it coming?
How did you get fingered in a car? Describe what you were wearing.
I was actually wearing like this fringe skirt because I was trying to like match the aesthetic of the concert last night.
Car.
I know what you meant.
And then I like pulled my suitcase in and changed in the airport bathroom like into like what I was wearing earlier, that huge sweatshirt. Just like got on my plane.
You looked so cute when I saw you this morning.
Well, good. I'm glad I looked cute last night.
You just like have energy or like, and then this morning I come in, you're really in the lobby taking calls. I'm like, who goes out to a concert on a date, takes a red eye, like gets fingered on the way, just changes in the airport, shows up, starts taking work calls. Now she's recording a podcast.
You look fresh. And we have a whole party tonight. We got a whole last night.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like a day tomorrow, but
yeah,
me just even waking up, like I'll probably just sleep all day tomorrow. I don't know. I feel like I have a weird energy. Maybe I'm just excited to see this is the first time in New York since 2018.
Yeah.
Haven't seen y'all since last summer. I don't know. I got kind of like amped up when I saw you and Azul.
It's the
I was tired, but I'm good
Adrenaline.
now.
Okay, so we brought you here today. No, we've been wanting to have you on, and like every time we do the virtual live shows, we get emails and messages like more Jenny Jones, more Jenny Jones. If you guys weren't actually at the Valentine's virtual live show, you missed out. That one was insane. They were both insane. The last two that we did, they've all three been great, but Jenny was at the last two, and she did a 2-on-1 date with Dylan Palladino and Usama Siddiqui, both guests from the show, probably from last summer, last fall, and two of the hottest guests that women fall all over for the most. And you did like a 2-on-1 date with them to like pick one. Did you pick?
Yeah, Usama, because he said he would finger me on a couch.
His fingers. And Dylan was like, I want to do a.
Dylan's like, I want to like make
go on
you dinner and like get you ice cream. And I was like, I want to get fingered.
Yeah. So
he would. To be fair, Dylan would finger you too, but he didn't lead with it, so that was his fault.
Lead with it.
Like know your audience,
ice cream.
Dylan.
Yeah.
He'll be at the birthday tonight, so you maybe get fingered by him.
Oh, good.
So we're going to wrap this episode up. We're going to do more dating stuff. You've been dating a lot lately, with intention a little bit. And we want to just talk more about your dating strategy and just like, I think you're such a inspiration, but you have had, you tell the story, but we wanted you to talk about what you've been dealing with some health stuff and just share your story. We want to just kind of let you tell it. We'll jump in if we feel like there's something that we want to know or that our audience might want to know. But yeah, we just kind of want to start at the beginning. And you can also, if we would just want to like kick it off and talk about your titties and how they're like famous and everybody's obsessed with them and they're the best anyone's ever seen. And we'll start there and then go from there because this is a titty journey we're taking today.
Yeah, I think my mom taught me early on, like, to show my titties. My mom's always shown her titties at party. I literally posted
I'm
about
from a long line of titty
Yeah.
showers. My grandma showed titties, and then my mom showed titties.
Yeah, my mom definitely showed her tits a lot growing up. She would be so proud that I'm saying this right now. So I love my boobs. I've always shown my boobs. I think I was showing my boobs at like Taco Bell in high school to get us free tacos. Like I have always loved my boobs. I think showing boobs is so funny. Like pulling your boob out at a bar is funny. I just think boobs are funny. Like, are they not?
Ashley just took one of her shirts off.
Yeah. Well, they should just be normalized. Like men get to show their boobs.
Remember in Dewey, and we're just like, show your tits.
That was the weekend I met you. Everyone just took their titties out.
Yeah, and it was
you had
so
amazing
funny, and it
titties.
was so fun. I mean, Louise's tits were great.
It's so annoying.
Yeah,
They're
It's
like
pull them out
unreal.
again.
We're like, show them again.
So yeah, I found out I had breast cancer recently. It's called DCIS, which is ductal carcinoma in situ, which is essentially stage 0 breast cancer because it has not become invasive. So it's in my milk duct. I found this kind of like in the shower, but I've always been kind of a hypochondriac, as like, okay, this is probably not something. I feel like they always tell you they would tell you like look for a BB or like a popcorn kernel or something.
Well, did you
think I was
do
just
breast exams like self?
No, like not
Okay.
really. Like, or I think I thought I would, like, if you soap up your boobs in the shower
Right.
or something. I always kind of thought like a guy would feel it. Like,
You hear that?
yeah,
You-
like surely if I'm getting my boobs touched or I'm dating, like whether seriously or
At Taco Bell, they're
casually,
like, wait
yeah.
a minute.
They're like, you raised your arms and like you have like a ripple, but you're supposed to do that. Like you're supposed to stand in front of a mirror and raise your arms up and like see if you notice anything that's different. And that actually is what mine looked like, but I'm not raising my arms in the mirror. So I had a gynecologist appointment. I actually went in and I was like, I'm not even going to point this out. I'm going to let her do the exam and then I'm going to ask about it. Because I feel like if I point it out, maybe she'll be like, that's something. Like literally,
Right. I know what you mean. Like let her find it.
I was searching for like, I didn't want to point it out. I wanted to just be okay. And when she was like, this feels weird. Like, have you noticed this? I feel like I was lying. I was like, yeah, I mean, I think I noticed it. Like, I wanted it to not be anything. She was like, you know what? I would go get a mammogram and an ultrasound. And like, I probably turned white. I'm super hypochondriac. I'm scared all the time about getting something, which is crazy because my health has always been so good. So I think I've always been like, something's going to happen.
Is it, let me ask, when you were feeling it, was it on your nipple?
So it was right above, like if you're looking at a clock, kind of like 2 or 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. So just like, and it kind of just felt like fibrous, like a lump of tissue, like especially when you're close to your period.
Your period,
boobs.
yeah. Like and I mean, people know this, I feel like, but never try to give yourself a breast exam around your period. You'll freak yourself
Yeah.
out. Like I
Well,
felt my
even
titties and I'm like,
touching
oh my
your
God,
nipple,
they're just like lumps.
In your nipple is like a weird area to touch. It freaks me out because you can feel like, you know, nodules and
nerves.
like kind of,
yeah. I get an enlarged like duct, I guess what it is. It's a benign like duct and it gets really big, really hard and it hurts really bad. A doctor said to me a good like rule of thumb is like if it hurts really bad, it's unlikely that it's cancer.
Yeah, so this
but I
did
saw a
not
doctor
hurt.
right away anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing hurt. It just felt like something. So I did a mammogram, ultrasound. The doctor came in. He was like this German, you know, it looked like he was from the movie Taken. So it was like already very scary. He was like, the good news is this doesn't look like cancer from my mammogram or my ultrasound. And so I was like, okay, good. What is it? And he was like, well, you're going to have to do a biopsy, find out what this is. So the biopsy was like the next week. And the whole time I'm like, I might have even messaged y'all of like, hey, I found something, but I don't know what it is yet. And I have to do a biopsy. Like, I think I told y'all about this before I even knew it was something bad.
Yeah.
Like as
you
a
did.
reminder, like do your breast exams. I just like found something, but hopefully everything's fine.
You did.
Yeah. So I got the biopsy and I remember going out of the biopsy and I was kind of pissed at it too, because it was like $600 out of pocket. And I remember calling my mom and being like, I'm just like paying $600 for them to be like, hey, this is, you know, benign. It was like annoying. And I kind of felt like, are they just telling me to get unnecessary? Like sometimes you're skeptical, like, are they telling me to get unnecessary things because of money? So I remember like leaving the biopsy and I remember the nurse goes, I hope everything works out for you. And I just thought that was like such a weird, I was like, oh my God, they know I have something. So about 4 days later, they call and they're like, hey, we don't have the results yet. We'll call you back. They accidentally sent the results to my gyno who called me and told me, hey, I just wanted to make sure you were okay with your DCIS diagnosis.
Whoa.
And that's how I just dropped to the floor and I was like, what? And she was like, this is Jennifer Jones, right? So yeah, she actually told me. The only reason I even knew what DCIS was, because like what a weird way of saying your DCIS diagnosis. Like y'all probably wouldn't know what that is. She didn't say your breast cancer diagnosis. The only reason I knew what that was is because my mom had this at 50. So in 2008, my mom also had a invasive cancer. So she had DCIS, which is non-invasive. She had like a stage 1 invasive in the other. She had been going to like biopsies, mammograms for years of everything being benign. And so when they finally found something, she was like, cut them off. Like, let's be done with this. So I kind of like knew something could come, but I just did not think like 35 years old. I was like, maybe 45, maybe 50. I'm staying on top of this. I'm going to my gyno exams. So yeah, that was that. Everything happened pretty quickly after that. I met with a couple surgeons and an oncologist to just go over my options. And the kind of issue with DCIS that sucks is like it has the potential to become invasive. They don't know if it will or not. So technically you could have DCIS. And my doctor even said like there are probably women walking around with this that will never have it develop into anything else.
Okay.
But if you find it, they want to treat it just in case it does turn into something else.
Jenny, I just want to say I'm so impressed by how fast you got on top of this. I mean, you like texted your friends. You were like, I need support. This is what's happening. I tend to like avoid things like the plague. You were like, I'm making the doctor's appointments. I'm doing the research. I'm going. And, you know, I think at least my inclination is to just be like, I'm going to panic and not do anything about it. And you were just like, I'm going to address this fucking immediately.
I think a lot of that had to do with like my mom going through this and like having that support. And the funny thing is me and my mom talk like maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. We're just not people that talk every single day. I was calling her like 4 times a day, whether I was crying, whether I was, you know, okay, whether I was asking her opinion. But I'm so thankful that she had gone through this because I don't know if I would have handled it the same way.
And when you told us, I immediately reached out to a friend who also had breast cancer. And I said, like, how would you want to be supported? And she was just like, when you hear those words, it's the worst like day of your life. And so like, just ask her what she needs and, you know, ask her how she can be helped. And we will talk about that with you and, you know, what you wanted from people.
I was very selective in who I told to. I wanted to tell y'all. I told a lot of girlfriend groups first because, you know, it just felt easier than like, and also I didn't want to post something on social and then y'all be like, oh my God, why didn't you tell me about this?
Yeah.
And I also was like, you know, you can tell Louisa and Kate and Meryl. I didn't feel as close to them because we don't talk every day to just put it all in a group chat. But yeah, I reached out to girlfriends first. I actually reached out to an ex-boyfriend in Denver to ask him if he knew anybody. Like, we're super close, even though he's my ex-boyfriend. We dated, you know, in our 20s. I was like, are you fucking anyone with breast cancer? And he was like, what? I was like, or like anyone that's a holistic anything, what an oncologist. Like, I don't know. He just always tells me people that he has sex with. So I'm like, any of these? He's like, let me just put feelers out to my other guy friends.
Is anyone fucking an oncologist? That's the group chat.
I barely had like any friends there at this point. Like most of the people I knew are exes that I'm friends with that don't even like I see that often. So he actually reached out to his guy friend who reached out to his ex-girlfriend who was best friends with someone on the board of giving, I believe, or fundraising for the breast cancer fundraiser. So that's how I got connected with like this, you know, support group of women under 40 with breast cancer. Which was
that was so cool to see. So you just like got together with them and it was just like shared stories and like, what was that like?
Yeah, they had like a fundraiser event. And to be honest, I almost turned the car around. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to sit around and talk about breast cancer. Like I used to work for American Cancer Society. Like, I don't want to talk about pink ribbons. I don't want to do any of this. And I went, it was a yoga class too. This was actually after my lumpectomy. So I can come back to my lumpectomy, but everyone was so great and wonderful. Like, I don't know, I'm not super buddy when I first meet someone. Like I'm kind of quiet and I sit back and like get to know people on my own time versus like, hey, I'm Jenny and I have breast cancer. And what kind of breast cancer do you have?
Yeah.
Where are you from? And I just ended up talking to all of these girls. We did brunch the next day and it was like, it felt weird because I was like, I don't even feel like I deserve to be in this group of women because some of them had gone through chemo and a double mastectomy. And at the time I was like, I just had my lumpectomy and I'm fine. I'm stage 0. And I felt like, do I even belong in this? Like, it's a club you don't want to be in, but I'm like, am I even supposed to be here? Like, I'm fine. And And then I got the news that my lumpectomy wasn't successful.
Okay, so can we back up?
Yeah.
To you making that decision, because was a tough decision for you. It's a tough decision for anybody. I mean, they basically gave you options. Like, what were your options?
Yeah, so like from one end of the spectrum, it's like I could do nothing and
just
see
roll
what
the
happens
dice
and just
Right.
Like
prostate
maybe
cancer.
maybe make lifestyle changes. I don't know. Like I asked oncologists, like, will that make a difference? And they're like, I mean, what are you willing to like give up your whole life to do things for?
Right.
Do nothing. My type of breast cancer is estrogen positive, which I was like, oh, did birth control cause this? Or like alcohol spikes estrogen? Like, no, sometimes your body just, and I could be saying this wrong, but this is how I was explained it. Sometimes your body just produces a lot of estrogen, like your ovaries are producing estrogen. So there's drugs that you can take that basically block that, but you can get blood clots. You're not supposed to get pregnant on it. And that really devastated me. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if I want kids, but the fact that I was like, now I'm being told like I can't get pregnant for maybe 5 years,
right,
which puts me at 40. I was devastated by that. So I really didn't want to do that. And then it was lumpectomy with radiation and tamoxifen. Like, so lumpectomy and radiation, all three of them. And then
for people that don't know, like a lumpectomy, you know, is basically
like
they just kind of scoop out.
Taking the lump
out.
Yeah,
right.
The cancer based on like how big it showed up in an MRI.
Right.
Remember, a mammogram and an ultrasound didn't catch this. They said this doesn't look like cancer.
Wow. Okay. Jeez. Okay. Yeah.
And I think it's because it was DCIS and it was in my duct and it just didn't look like how a cancer tumor looks.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's probably just that reason. An MRI caught it and the biopsy caught it.
So is it like options are do nothing? Maybe you can try to change your whole life if you think that's going to be a route. Do something that could prevent you from having kids for quite some time. Lumpectomy or mastectomy? Are those kind of the
so
four
it was
options?
a mastectomy on one side or a bilateral, so both. And like that just seemed so aggressive, like stage 0 DCIS. Like,
was that recommended to you, or everything is just sort of like whatever you feel like is good for you?
And the thing that they kept reiterating is like, you have a very high survival rate with this. Like, this is good. This is stage 0. But just like the options they were giving me, I'm like, these all suck.
Right. These all, there's none of none is good. And I mean,
like, it's kind of like you caught it stage 0. You're just going to like take this pill. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And I think so much of, your femininity is tied to having hair, having breasts, looking a certain way. And so to be told like you may lose all of that is really terrifying.
And at the time, I didn't know about chemo. So chemo was off the table with it being stage 0 and DCIS. So for that, I was thankful. So I went to 2 doctors. One was a little bit older and I feel like just more kind, like took my hands in her hand and was like, hey, you're going to be okay. You can do a lumpectomy or we can do a mastectomy, whatever you're comfortable with. I went to another surgeon for a second opinion. She was a little bit younger and I think she was just very direct, she was like, I would do a mastectomy. We have to get a lot of it, That's what I would do.
I need the empathy. I need the compassion.
Yes.
I need the hand holding.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's doctors that I don't care. Like if you give me fillers, I don't care if you even speak to me, but like something so like the bedside manner is so important for something like this. And like somebody that you feel comfortable with.
Well, we talked about this. I mean, on a very small level, I just went to talk to somebody about getting a breast reduction surgery and he was so condescending to me. He wasn't nice. He was just like, I do this all the time and you're stupid for asking these questions basically. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable with this. Like, I don't want you to perform surgery on me. I don't want it. So like, I think that this is just like a good reminder to people that like, if you don't feel comfortable, keep getting other second opinions.
And I just feel like you have crushed it on this. Like, I'm going to talk to everybody. And it's like such a fucking pain. I mean, you can talk about it. Yeah. You posted something so like raw and emotional about just like crying in your car and just like all these appointments. Everyone sucks. Everything sucks. Like there's no like, here's the exact roadmap. So go talk to this doctor. They're going to be great. She's going to hold your hand through it. And here's what you should do. Like, not only are you have to make these incredibly hard decisions, but like you don't even really know if it's the right doctor. Like it's really shitty, all of it.
Well, and also like no
you've done
doctor,
such a great job.
Yeah, no doctor is going to say do nothing. Like I don't think legally they can even say that, or like medically they can say that. Like most surgeons prerogative is to mitigate risk. And the way to mitigate risk is to do the thing that's most aggressive. I mean, no one's going to say, Jenny, don't do anything.
Right.
But like if something happens.
But also, you can just not do anything in life. If that's what you're like, but I want to just take essential oils. They're going to be like, okay, we don't have a gun to your head.
Yeah. My mom kept saying that, you don't have to do anything. I'm like, well, I'm not going to be stupid. And so I told my mom and my best friend, I told Amanda, I was like, you need to tell me if I'm ever being stupid. Like if I'm saying I don't want to do this option, you need to be like, Jenny, that's stupid. And my mom told me that because we've talked about her mastectomy and how like, do you feel like it was too aggressive? And we talked about this before this even happened to me. Like, do you feel like you needed to do that? Like, changed her whole body. She had to do like this huge surgery. She did a different type of procedure that I did because they just did it differently back then. So I could have done nothing. I chose the lumpectomy because I talked to the group of girls, the support group, and someone said, you can do something small and keep going, but you can't do something big and go back. Mm-hmm. She was like, so I would try it first. And we tried it.
I like that plan.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would have done.
And I like that one doctor gave me the option versus the other was like, I mean, you can do that, but I wouldn't do that. I would do this. And I was like, I just don't feel like you had I'm like the other, I don't know. She was just so kind because I was like, my boobs are so important to me. Like, this is gives me my confidence. Like, it's my favorite feature of myself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she did the lumpectomy. She went in through the nipple to make sure like I didn't have a huge scar across my chest. And she kind of moved the tissue from one side to the other to kind of fill in this hole where she had to take, a pretty substantial portion of my boob. So I wasn't just like dented in and scarred. Uh-huh. And I appreciate her for doing that. Like, I cried the whole time. So I've cried during nurses have always held my hand and done that. And they're like, does this hurt? I'm like, nope, it doesn't hurt. This is awful. Like, no, I'm numb. It doesn't hurt. You're sticking wires in my boob and I know you're about to go cut into it.
Right. Like I'm emotionally not okay. And Jenny,
my mom
for
can't
anybody
be in
listening
here.
is like not a crier. You're not like I don't even know if I've ever seen you like really cry. Like I cry all the time, but like you're not like
like you.
Yeah, you're not like me.
But I cry like probably about like more about breakup stuff but
you're just a strong person.
This stuff was hard for me just because it's so in your face and like right there. Like maybe if it was my foot, it wouldn't have been so off. I don't want to lose my foot, but it was just right in front of my face. My mom couldn't come in with me. I had to go into the surgery that morning by myself. She braided my hair, which was
COVID.
Sweet.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's just like it makes me so like.
So she like sat in the car
what
and
COVID has done with things like this.
Yeah.
It's just makes it even worse.
For 6 hours. Like my mom sat in my car for 6 hours and just sat. I'm just like, moms are crazy.
Mm-hmm. I know. And so
what happened?
Yeah,
so recovery wasn't really that bad. Like I was sitting up doing work that day, later in that day. I was on pain pills. It was pretty manageable. I was getting like kind of stir crazy. So I was doing like squats while we were watching TV, but I was like bandaged up. Mm-hmm. And she just stayed for like 2-3 days. And I actually went on a girls trip. So my lumpectomy was Tuesday. Went on a girls trip on Thursday. I kind of said like, I've already paid for this.
Yeah.
I was like, let's play it by ear. If I feel good, I'll still come. We'd already planned it. And that's just when they wanted to do the lumpectomy. And I was like, I'll still come. So I didn't know a lot of the girls. I knew the one that planned it. And maybe I'd met a couple the other time. One Friday is when I got the call that it was unsuccessful. So around all of these girls who I don't know, in hindsight, I was like, oh man, but like, thank God I wasn't by myself. My mom had just left. Like, what if I didn't go on the girls trip? I was just like sitting there and had to have that news by myself. So all of these girls that I just met were like, we're here for you. Like, sorry, it's going to make me tear up.
No, it's making me tear up. That is what you kind of want.
Yeah. And they like went and day drank, I think on Saturday. And I was like, I'm going to rest, and like laid with an ice pack on my chest. That was a weekend where I cried in the shower. Mm-hmm. And like they left and I think I screamed as loud as I could.
Yeah.
I was cathartic. Couldn't get in the hot tub, like sat with my legs in the hot tub. Okay. But it was good to have just any girls around me.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question just medically? Like when they say it wasn't successful, how do they know they didn't get enough out?
So basically the three things is, did it go to my lymph nodes? So I have a scar on my armpit, and this is still pretty numb from where they took lymph nodes. That would be the first place that anything invasive would go. So those were negative. If there was anything invasive outside, like micro invasion. So I was like, I hope that's negative. That came back negative. It was the margins. So basically the amount that they took out, there were still cancer cells showing on the margins of it. And she even said that she went further than she needed to get clean margins. So it's crazy to me, but I guess it was more extensive than even the MRI showed.
You just can't see everything inside someone's body. Like it's not the same, but like, I mean, with Dewey, like it just didn't, we thought he was getting better with the chemo. And then the final day, his kidney ruptured, and then they went in with an even more invasive, a very expensive thing. And they see all this cancer, like that they, an ultrasound couldn't catch. And I'm not comparing your breast cancer to Dewey, but it's cancer. It's just like, you can't ever know for sure.
Until
and
you're in.
It's a scary thing, until you do. Yeah. So it's just like, and that's not a hot take, but it's just like, I hate that feeling of being like, no, it's better. Everything's better. And then it's like, whoa.
Well, yeah, it was also
so
like, I thought we were done. Like,
yeah,
I thought this was behind me. Like even when my mom left, she's like, I'm so glad this week is behind us. And
oh my God. Yeah.
And just to like have to call her and be like,
I can't imagine that call.
Yeah. They weren't able to, like, even with my doctor, I was like, okay. And she's like, you're handling this really well. And I was like, I'm going to call my mom. And then that's when I lost it.
100%.
My mom actually called my doctor back. She was like, did you ask that? I was like, I didn't ask anything. I just,
no, you black out.
Yeah. So she called back and my doctor was like, thank God you called me. Like, she wasn't even like, does Jennifer give you permission to talk to, like, she was like, oh, thank God that you called. Like all my mom said was, this is Jennifer Jones's mom. Yeah. And she like went over everything, and my mom called me back and she goes, I like your breast surgeon.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Cause I was like, what if they're, just saying that? I just kind of felt like you're going down this path and you're like, here's where, like, the mammogram's where it stops. Okay. The biopsy is where it stops. This is, and I'm like, we have to keep going. Yeah. Like, what other bad news am I going to get? So I cried, I screamed, had the girls' weekend. And then on Monday I was like, fuck this. I'm calling I was like, send me every doctor that you've worked with as a reconstruction surgeon. Like, let's go. So I like basically went down the list, and it sucks that the first one was just like this man that I was really upset about the fact that, because I think a lot of people think it's like a boob job and you still will have all of these things. Like, you lose complete sensation. Someone described it to me as a amputation. Like, they take everything out and then they stick a fake boob in, and I will never be able to feel my boobs again. Like, if I have sex and someone touches my boob, like, I won't be able to feel it. I think you get some like tactile skin sensation back, but they're basically cutting your nerves.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I'm not like, it's just, people don't think of that. And we're going to get to the worst things people could possibly say, but like, it's such I'm not trying to make it sound worse, but it's so intense. I mean, I had a friend that had a double mastectomy. We chatted about her, and, she got new boobs, but like, nobody wants this, this isn't like a chop them off and get new ones. Like, it just, I feel for anyone who's had to go through this, and I hate that people would think of it in like such a light term. Like, I didn't think of that till you told me that. Actually, I wasn't out here taking it lightly ever, but I didn't fully realize that you lose sensation in your breasts.
Well, it's not a boob job for you guys that are listening.
Right.
It's not like, woo, I got new titties. Like, it's, you have stents put into your breasts. You have to, change the skin. It's your nipples come off in a lot of cases. You can talk about.
I mean, and everything's taken, so you can't breastfeed. That's gone. Not that I really wanted to breastfeed or even know if I want to have kids, but it's like I lost the option.
And now you don't have to go through radiation, just so people know.
So
I have two girlfriends who went through egg retrieval prior to this.
Right. So
and you don't have to do that.
Yes. No. And that is a really tough thing too. My friend went through that. And actually, I mean, it's such a success story. This is a friend that we know. Her name's also Jennifer, who had really aggressive stage 4 breast cancer when she was, I think, 30, maybe 31. I was friends with her the whole time, still friends with her, but went through chemo, double mastectomy, and obviously got new breasts and, totally beat it and has never come back. That was, I don't know, probably close to 10 years ago, 10 years ago, has 2 beautiful daughters.
I actually reached out to her on DM.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. She told me to tell you to reach out. So she's so wonderful, but we did get off track a little bit. So let's get back to talking about your process.
So basically I was like, I'm just going to keep getting opinions, which sounds good, but also like one opinion will lead you to another thing. And now you have like a million opinions that are all kind of the same, but like a little bit different, where you're like, I still don't know how to make this decision.
And for people, just so again, who have never gone through, a mastectomy is like the final frontier that will get it if anything can get it.
So if anything was invasive, the only other thing I would have had to do would be chemo.
Okay.
But because nothing's invasive at this point, I don't.
Okay.
So that's the other thing. If I did nothing, like that has the potential, and now chemo's on the table. So why would I even
100%.
risk,
Right.
Right. And I think what was the hardest part about it is like, I love my boobs. Like, love my boobs. And
more
so
than
like
anybody.
maybe if I didn't
With
like
cause,
them,
guys, we've seen them. They're amazing.
if I didn't like them, maybe I wouldn't feel so like devastated by, getting rid of them. And I've talked to like best friends who are like, and they don't say it insensitively. Like, I don't love my boobs. Like, I get how hard this is for you, 'cause you do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, it would still be hard for me. And I hate mine. And
It would
I'm
be
like,
hard for literally anybody, but like, it's like you are the girl who loves her boobs.
yeah. And I went into one doctor and I started crying, and I was like, because this was down to the decision of like one or both. I was like, well, if I keep this one, I can at least still feel this one, and I can breastfeed out of this one. But it also means like every 6 months I have to get this one checked and like have that hanging over my head. Mm-hmm. And I remember I told the one doctor, I was like, it makes me really upset to not be able to breastfeed. And he goes, well, are you married? And I was like, what the fuck does it matter if I'm married? Like, you just put me on a time. Like, well, you're not even married. Is that even like a thing
That's an insane thing.
And maybe he didn't mean it that way, but like,
doesn't matter.
that's how I was like, he's not my guy.
That's how it should come across to every woman. When
Would you
somebody
say that
says
to a
you.
25-year-old? Who cares?
I know. Yeah. So I was like, he's not my guy. Like, next.
At least he made it easy.
And then at the same time, so I'm doing all these reconstruction surgeons, but at the same time, I'm having people reach out and say, I know an oncologist, or I know a breast surgeon, and I can pass them your information. They'd be happy to talk to you, which was kind of crazy because at that point they're unbiased. Like, they have no stake in this. I'm not going to, I think one was in Florida. Like, I'm not going to Florida to go get treatment by her. So she's giving an opinion that has no bearing on her whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So it was really helpful because most of them said like, the good news is this is stage 0. The good news is this isn't invasive. I would still say a mastectomy. I would tell my wife, I would tell my daughter, I would tell my sister.
Right.
So it kept making it easier the more that people were, doctors, oncologists were saying this. There was one other breast surgeon I went to. I went back to Atlanta just to see if I wanted to get treated there. Then I could be close to family. And he kind of said we could go back in, but I think the reason your breast surgeon's not doing that is she knows how important your boobs are, and cosmetically, like, it will not be okay.
We'll just fuck them up even more.
Yeah. And like right now, when it first was done, I was like, this looks fine. Like, they're crazy. Like, and she's like, don't let this fool you. You're swollen. You have fluid in those holes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And now that all of that has kind of dissipated, like, this boob is much smaller than this one. My nipple's higher. I have huge dents.
So
Like, I've gone on
anymore, it's
dates
like-
and like guys have stared at my boobs. I'm like, I wonder if they wonder what that dent is. It's like, I'll tell you eventually. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've been okay with it recently, but like that first time that I was in a dressing room of like, oh, fucking places. Why did I look at myself in like a Nordstrom dressing room?
No.
Yeah.
But like, that's when I saw him for the first time. I just started crying in the dressing room because it was just like, that's not my boob. And like, I also feel weird. Like, I'm like, you didn't do anything. And now I have to like get rid of like the left one. Yeah.
Was that did you have a favorite?
Yeah, that one's probably why this one like wronged me. I always touch this one like when I masturbate. And I'm like, that's why, isn't it? It's because I didn't touch
The
it.
other one? Yeah, my left one's my
I
favorite.
don't know, because it's like I'm using
someone
that
with
hand.
tits like mine. They're just neither of them are special.
Once they get past like a certain, like I like the nipple on the left side better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a better boob.
it's bigger. I think that one, the one over your heart, is a little bit bigger. Like your left.
I mean,
is
mine are so
typically-
big, like who would even know the difference? But I do.
Mine are pretty symmetrical, but I do have one foot bigger than the other.
my whole left side is bigger than my right side.
Oh, I do have a leg longer. Yeah, I'm a little crooked, but I think my titties are pretty symmetrical.
Well, I want to like get up to speed with what the last decision you're making is, and then we have some burning questions about like people supporting you and things like that.
And dating and your ex.
So I went to about 5 oncologists, 3 breast surgeons, and 4 reconstruction surgeons.
All in Denver?
In Denver and Atlanta.
Okay.
And 2 of them I did not like just because they made it so dire. Like, yeah, I don't know if you're going to like these. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like,
what the
then you're not my
fuck?
guy. Yeah. And one of them was so recommended that was when I posted, I cried in my car today because he was so recommended. I was looking forward to that appointment. It took me forever to get in with him. And I was like, I bet this is going to be my guy. I know another girl that her exact team would have been that team of like breast and reconstruction. he was like, yeah, you might lose your nipple. Like, I don't know. I don't think you're going to like this.
Well,
and I literally go, so I'm not going to have good boobs. And he was like, I mean, and then just like handed me a tissue. And I'm like, I get like set low expectations and then be like, look, they're great. But it's like, no. So two of the other doctors, one doctor said, and he was a man, and it was kind of funny because I'm like, God, I know why you went into this business, because it was just like, yeah, and then this one will do that. And I'm like, that's not even the bad one that you're touching right now. It felt like a handshake that went on like way too long.
Oh no.
But like at the same time, I'm like, you're a boob man. If you're obsessed with boobs, sculpt me some new boobs. And he was like, if you want to be topless on a table, we'll get you there. And I was like, fuck, yes, I do. Like, I've been showing my boobs for years. I want to show them again freely.
Back to that Taco Bell.
My grandma showed them again. My mom.
He was out of network. And then which out of network just means it wouldn't go towards your deductible, where eventually things would be paid for. And then I went to a woman who is actually, works at the same plastic surgeon office who's done Dolly Parton's boobs. So I'm like, I feel like that's a huge sign.
Well, also, by the way, Jenny, it's like
I love Dolly Parton.
She's like you're a stan. That's your number one celebrity.
I love her.
Like, that's your Beyonce.
Oh yeah. Like if I saw her, I would just start crying.
No, really, like how I am. Like that's, I mean, most people are like that.
How you are with Diane Keaton.
Diane. No, Jenny. Yeah, like it just wasn't there a picture of her in the office or something?
She, an article about her, and then she had signed it and said like, thanks for giving me a great rack or something.
It's a no-brainer.
It was just like very like kind of serendipitous of like, wow, that's a good sign. And so this woman doctor too, I was like, yeah, everyone just made it dire. And she was like, what? No, like what? We're going to give you great boobs.
So mad.
Yeah. She was like, no, we'll give you great boobs. And she's like, we'll just keep going until you do. Like, what? Why would anyone say that?
I'm so confused by all these things you're saying to me, because I do think that, like, you know, there's one size fits one for doctors, right? And there's some people that are just like, just shoot me straight, doc. Just tell me what. But like
I didn't say
not
that.
Like a soft little snowflake. Like, and if you were insulted by somebody, I'm like shocked that like people behave like this.
It's not for me. I need the bedside manner. I need the compassion and the kindness and the like
the motivation.
Treat me like a child.
Yeah,
honestly.
and you're not a sensitive little pussy if you want that. Who doesn't want somebody to look at you and be like, everything's gonna be fine. We got this.
Yeah.
If you're not getting that and you want that, fuck that. Keep looking.
Like, we got you. And she also showed me all of these boobs of like, you know, I've done these, I've done these, I've done these, I've done these. Like,
I love it.
And they all looked good. Whereas, you know, some of them, they were like, I did these. And I was like, that is like a 90-year-old lady. Like, so yeah, I actually decided, and solely based, I called my breast surgeon, the one that did the lumpectomy, and I said, here's who I'm down to. Is it inappropriate to ask you who you would go with? And she was like, absolutely not. They both do an amazing job. You're in good hands either way. And then I was like, well, one's in network. She goes, go in network. Why would you want to pay more than you need to and like have physical therapy covered and anything else that you need along the way? Go in network. So that's what I've chosen. My surgery is going to be on July 30th. I think they will try to do direct to implant, which means I would leave there with implants in based on how everything goes, or they would do expanders, which you basically get pumped up over the course of maybe 3 months. And then you have to have another surgery to get those swapped out. I'm also trying to do this fast. They didn't say like, you need to do this in, you know, a month. Like they were like, you have some time to make a decision. I want my ski season. So I'm like, what can I get to make sure like I can move my arms and I can ski, because, you know, I'm not gonna be able to have a lot of mobility in my arms from this.
I love that. Just let's fucking go. You know, like why wait? I would feel the same way if I'd made the decision. I would just be like, yeah, let's fucking do it.
Yeah. And I'm inspired by it really, because I get paralyzed by fear. And I, like Ashley knows, like I know I need to see a doctor for so long for something, I just won't go. Like I get paralyzed by fear. And like you were just like, we're fucking doing it. You updated all of us constantly. And I just love the way you asked for support. And I think a lot of people, we will talk about dating, but I do want to touch on this. I think a lot of people, whether they've had breast cancer at a really young age or they have friends who have, are like, you know, how do I support somebody that has this? And you had some like crazy stories about things that people said to you in terms of like people that I think everybody's well-meaning. Everybody hears you have cancer and they want you to be okay. But things I think were probably like a little overstepping and a little nuts that you were telling us. So like, what were people's responses to you?
A lot of flowers. I got like a soup thing that was so great.
I got one of those
like,
too.
Spoonful of comfort. It was so nice.
Spoonful of comfort.
I wish more people would send that to me.
Chef's kiss.
It was so nice. But at the same time, I'm like, I thought it was over. So now like that I'm going back into this other thing, I'm like, you don't have to send me, like, you don't have to resend me another round of flowers or another thing of soup. Like, the thing that's been most supportive to me in like sharing this, and the reason I shared it is like, one, like check your boobs, because I don't think anybody really checks them the way you're supposed to. And two, like I needed support. You know, I'm going through this single, and like one of the things that popped into my head when I found out about all this is like, would this have been easier if I was married, if I already had kids? Like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, my boobs are messed up from having kids anyways. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't have all of these things. And like, now I have to go through this essentially alone. So I was like, I have to lean on my girlfriends and also my guy friends and my family. And, you know, I was kind of in that back and forth relationship for a while. And I don't think he reacted the way that I needed him to react. He made a lot of the diagnosis about how it affected him. He didn't really understand. He kept saying, I don't understand. And I was like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, there's Google. Like, you can Google this. If I've tried to, like, I've held your hand and walked you through this and told you the things I need to do. And you're like, it still doesn't make sense. Like, I don't think that this is right. And I'm like, okay, well, I've asked 10 doctors.
This is the last thing I need is like this.
Questioning like my choices and not supporting me. And I think it was that where I was like, fuck this. Like, I don't need to go through this with somebody.
With
like
a man.
Yeah, I don't need to go through this with like a partner or a person. It almost would like maybe stress me out more, especially if I was in a bad relationship of like fighting on top of it. And I'm not saying I do so many things for other people, but especially in relationships, like I always constantly doing things. I'm like, this is my time to do shit for me. And if you can't take care of me the way that I've taken care of you for the last, like, fuck it. Like, it is me first. And I've never really been like that until now, which is good. And I'm learning that, but
well, it's a good time to be quote unquote selfish. I mean, you have to put yourself first, and you have to, like, if somebody isn't supporting you the way that you need, that you said somebody was like, well, just do some holistic stuff and it'll go away. And it's like, if that's not what you want to hear, that person can't be in your life for like the next like 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
Like, whatever you need, that's what you should take.
Yeah. And I've like learned who to, you know, listen to and who to not listen to, and who to thank for their opinion, and, you know, not let it swirl around in my head. Cause I went crazy for like 2 weeks. I was like, I'm giving up alcohol. I was like, I'm giving up booze for my boobs. Like, I'm giving up alcohol. I'm not going to eat meat. And I was obsessing. Like, I can't have this salad with this salad dressing because there's 3 grams of sugar. Sugar feeds can't. And I was like, Jenny, this is not a way to live the rest of your life.
Were
like,
you advised by doctors to give up any of that
no,
stuff?
just someone that said, I know people that have healed this holistically.
Okay.
Well, and bottom line, your partner should, and this was not your like boyfriend, you know, this was a back and forth ex, like, you know what I mean? This wasn't like your long-term years committed boyfriend, but your partner should, your romantic partner should just make your life easier. That's what the whole point is. That's like what love is. It's like taking the weight off of somebody when they need it most. So if someone is not giving you exactly what you need, like, that's a sign that it's not. And I just love that you were like, I can do this single, not alone. That's not the word. You're
alone,
surrounded by people. You have an amazing dog. He looks like a soul, but he's red, and your family. And I just like, I love that you were like, I'm not alone and I can be single. And this person is actually making things a little harder on me. And we were just saying earlier, like, sometimes people latch on to a romantic partner in a hard time because that's what they think they need or something. And then, like, it can sometimes even tether you to that person that you normally wouldn't even have held on to. Like we were saying earlier, cause I always call you like real life Samantha Jones. Like when Samantha was like, but Smith stayed with me through cancer. And it's like, she wanted to break up with him, but she felt tethered to him. And also Smith is my number one. So no shade to Smith ever, but like how she was like, he stayed with me through cancer, as in like, I owe it to him to be with him, even though the relationship had expired. And again, it's a fictional show, but like, I don't know. I'm so glad that you kind of cut that cord and you didn't think to yourself, like, I need a boyfriend type around me to support me. You were like, he's not the right type of support and I can do this without him. I mean, thank God. Because what if you just would have just let him be around and then it was just, you're kind of linked to him forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, we already kind of, we both knew like, we don't see this relationship long-term. We were just holding on to it. So it's almost like, had he reacted in a great way and supportive way, we probably would have stayed together. And I would have been like, well, I'm staying with him because I'm scared to go through this alone, instead of kind of facing that and being like, what's the harder decision here?
Which is like, there's no shade to that either. I don't think you are shading it. You know, I think it's nice way to think about it of like, yeah, it would be nice to have somebody to come to the appointments with me and to talk to about this. But I mean, it's a testament to you that you like built a life around you where you have plenty of people that can do that and love you and check in and want to do that with you.
Well, and if we also both kind of knew this wasn't going anywhere before this happened, what is going to make this? Yeah, like cancer is going to fix this. Like, maybe it would have made things like better for a little bit because the focus would have been on something different.
In the
But like
relationship,
once we're
yeah.
past it, we probably would have ended back up at the same point we were in February.
So, we covered most of that. We taught your July 30th. You guys can follow Jenny's journey. She's just been so open and incredible about the whole thing. You have been dating up a storm. Like, Rayna and I can't keep up. And Jenny will like send us like these pictures from these guys. And we're like, who is this?
I wake up to a dick pic from you, Jenny.
Okay, I don't ask for those.
No, she's
And Ashley actually had to double check. Ashley was like, are you asking for these? And you were like, no, they just appear. And all of them have a real dong on them.
I just put out like send me a dick pic vibe, I think.
So
You just seem like a good time. I get that a lot too. You just seem like you'd be a good time.
you've always dated. You've never been scared to hit the apps in a new city and date. And you know, you're a dater. You're great at dating. Like, but did you feel like you had a little bit more of a motivation?
What kind of started as like, I want to date because I do want to have someone to go through this with when I was scared to be alone. And then I started doing this and I'm like, what am I going to do? Just like settle for like this guy that has a fucking college poster on his wall at 38 years old because I'm scared to be alone.
Which you inspired us. We are going to talk about this on a future episode. Like guys that have sports memorabilia.
Yeah, we're gonna do
You're
dive.
38.
Yeah, Jenny
You don't need a frame poster of Ugga on your wall.
Well, yeah, we
Who's
can't. The UGA bulldog.
Oh. Listen, it can't be in your living room. It can't be on a shelf in like a shared area. If you have like a man cave in a basement.
And then you were like, he has a blanket. I'm like, is it a throw or a comforter? Is that his bedding? It's UGA bedding.
A throw, okay? Or maybe like a beanbag chair. I'll take a beanbag chair. Listen, you paid for the house, okay?
What?
You can put it in like their
No.
man cave
In
basement.
the man cave, anything goes.
Yeah.
It was
What
not
do
in a
you
man
want?
cave. It was in his bedroom.
That's what is
This
not
too much.
acceptable.
What are you, like 21?
Yeah. So I realized like, we'll call him Big Dick Josh.
Okay.
That's what you're good for. Not for dating. You're good for having sex with me because I hadn't had sex in a while. I mean, that relationship. And he asked, well, how could I have supported you better? The one that ended, I was like, you could have fucked me. That would have taken my mind off all of this. Like, I cried. I say, this is going to suck. And he's like, why don't I go down on you about it? Like, that would have been supportive. And so, like, I haven't had sex in a while. And I'm like, I'm going to have sex. Like, these boobs deserve this. So I'm
Yes.
doing it for them.
Yep. Do you feel like you will tell people, or have you been on like the last couple of days you've been talking to you? Like, I can hear you. I can feel that you would just like bust it on a date.
Well,
Be
he
like,
knew,
"Well, I have
right? Big Dick
cancer."
Josh.
So we went out. I do not bring this up on a first date or have it like on my Bumble profile because that just seems like a buzzkill and whatever.
Like a pink ribbon.
Yeah, there's just like all the pink
One of the
ribbons.
prompts is just like,
me
ask
like in
me
a
about
pink
my
ribbon hat.
cancer.
I'm a Leo, but I have cancer.
Jenny's like, cancer season. Get it?
My best quality, my titties for now.
Oh my God, guys. We
Don't get
people are like,
attached.
how can you joke about this?
Jenny sets the tone. That's how.
Well, earlier, Rob was here. He was like, we're starting at 4:00 today. We're going to the roof. We're getting fucked up. I was like, Rob, Jenny has cancer.
Read the room, Rob.
Read the room.
But
Rob.
also fine.
Last time we were all in New York.
Celebrate.
No, it was just, whatever. It was just like, Jenny can sniff out the
Party people?
The party people.
That's when I pulled out my own weave and like held it up in my hair like Simba and then did karaoke. It's a great night. Tribble was here. Aaron tuning was
It
here.
was a wild night. So anyway, Jenny, tell us about telling guys. Do any of them have, like, is it a second date or tell us?
kind of like a second date thing. So one guy asked to follow me on Instagram. I didn't even think about it because I don't think about it. And I'm like, oh shit, he's about to find out this thing. And he kind of said, hey, I just read your post. I'm so sorry that you're going through that. Like, I just want to give you a hug. Like, it was so nice and
That's really
kind.
nice. Which one was he?
Just this other guy I'd gone like on a date or two with. Super nice, but like, just, I don't think either of us were really feeling it. He was like, for what it's worth, I know somebody that went through this too, and her boobs look great. And I was like, oh, thanks.
That's nice. So that's supportive. We were talking about how to like support people through this. It's like just another person I know did this and they're fine. That's all I'm trying to hear.
So it's almost like dating has become like, wow, I'm getting all this like support. Like, I don't need a partner or boyfriend to go through this. Like, I also am getting support from guys in ways that I need of like, you know, the guy I had sex with, I went over there during lunch, like I told y'all I was going to do.
Target,
I was getting dick and deck, like patio furniture.
Yeah.
No, but I went over there in a lacy bralette thing, and I was like, okay, I'll keep this one in, like the one that's gotten dents in it, and I'll take this one out, and then I'll feel comfortable with like somebody, because he knew he knew I had this, but I just didn't want him like focusing on it. Yeah, I didn't want him like focusing on it or anything like that, and so I just remember he ripped off my bra and kind of like went to town on like the bad boob. And I was like,
I love it.
all right, you just set a new standard of like, I will never again feel self-conscious about being naked in front of someone, whether it's with my lumpectomy or my mastectomy or, you know, any of this. Like you just set a standard of like, no guy should like shy away from this or like make me feel like I'm anything less than I was before.
Yes, I love this. We just did an episode about what guys think about in bed, and the overwhelming advice from both men we had was like, we're just excited to be with you, to see you naked, to like feel good. And like, I love that you feel like that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like I'm taking little pieces, and there has been, I've gone on I think like 1 or 2 dates, and I ended up telling them just because they were sharing something pretty personal. Like one guy was talking about his divorce and how hard it was. And I was like, hey, I'm going through something hard too. I haven't really heard from him because I think that maybe we both kind of recognize like we're both going through some hard shit, and maybe it was like a thing that we didn't even have to acknowledge. Like I think we both weren't feeling it. I think probably he was looking for something more fun. I'm looking for fun things too, but ultimately I'm looking for a relationship. So it was kind of like an unspoken thing. Somebody else I think like didn't really want to hear about it, which is like, okay, well, you're not a guy that I want to have sex. Like, you don't want to hear about this. You don't get to see my boobs before or after.
What do you mean he didn't want to hear about it?
It's not like he didn't want to hear about it, but I told him about it and he was like, oh, I mean, that's fine. We all have our stuff. And then like, I haven't heard from him.
Loud and clear.
I haven't really heard from him since, but he was being like super texty, sexual. Like he's the one that sent me that dick pic. And I was like, ooh, is that gold fixtures? I love your backsplash. And he was like,
so funny.
What?
Backsplash.
Yeah, he had great backsplash and like the gold fixtures.
Some guys, just people are just not equipped to deal with heavier stuff. And I mean, it's no fault of your own, but I also just think at this point in our lives, I mean, in your 30s, 20s even, we all have had an experience, whether it's a friend, a family member, like, I don't know anybody that's lives haven't been touched by breast cancer in some way. So
also no shade. Sometimes you meet a stranger and they share something that you feel is a little too intimate and you can't deal with it like the way that maybe they want you to.
Close to home.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to get people tell me and Ashley stuff all the time about their lives because we do for a living, but I understand people that are just like, I'm not ready to handle this. Fine. No shade. Just, that's not your person right now.
Yeah. And it's been kind of freeing to just be like, I'm not trying to just lock someone down to go through this. Like I get to be picky and I get to focus on me. And it's kind of been like sort of a silver lining in having breast cancer of like, wow, I'm really learning patience in this process and like who to listen to and who to trust and who to lean on. And that I don't need a guy or a partner to go through this. Like I can still have things with guys, but not necessarily like the right thing yet. And I honestly think this will lead me to that person.
Jenny, I love your outlook on this.
I just really think that too. I'm having like a full body response to that statement. I just know that's the truth.
I mean, it has to be. Otherwise, like, why do we have to go through this shit?
I love your outlook from it. And I want to say, like, I have multiple friends that went through this at young ages. I have 2 girlfriends at 28 were diagnosed with cancer. Both had a double mastectomy, breast implants, chemo, radiation, everything. They're fine. They're doing great. And both of them, first thing they said to me when I was talking about you was have her reach out to me if she wants to. And I think that our listeners can probably relate to that too. Like, I'm so impressed by women in the community of like support. And these girls that I was talking to, they don't know you. They don't know anything about you. And they were just immediately like, absolutely give her my information, whatever she needs. And I love seeing people support each other like that.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of support I've gotten has far exceeded like the amount of like, well, you should try this natural homeopathic.
Sure.
Well, did we cover that enough, Rayna? That was like the thing you really wanted to talk about. What not to do? I mean, A, oh my God, you're so lucky you get new titties. No. B, try to cure it with essential oils and breath work. No.
Right. Or
fuck off.
Or what you said was that like people that have no experience with breast cancer at all telling you what they would do with their body. Yeah. And it's just like, no one's really asking for your opinion.
I mean, it's just, I mean, people love nothing more than an unsolicited medical opinion. And that, I mean, this is like, I said this again, not the same. I can't stress enough, but I never posted about Dewey having cancer until he passed from it because I was talking to my vet and an oncologist and doctors and friends and close family. And I did not need the unsolicited opinions about people and their dogs and cancer. And that's no shade. People want to help. I think that intentions are good, but it's not always helpful. And again, it's like, I didn't ask and I will ask I will ask if I want to, you know, like Jenny, if you post on Instagram, let me know your cancer stories in the comments below, like pop off all you want. But it's just like the sliding in with the unsolicited opinions. It's like, this isn't helpful. I don't think so.
No, I mean, and again, you'll tell us what you think, but I think that everybody's well-intentioned no matter what they say to you. Of course, I'm not trying to shade those people, but I think most people also come from a point of view of what they would want in that situation. And it's like, I'm not you and you're not living my experience.
Yeah, I just think a lot of people don't know what to do to help. But honestly, just like people texting me and asking me how I am, at first it was hard because sometimes it would remind me like, oh shit, yeah, I'm going through something.
Right. Yeah.
It's also why I posted that update recently, because I think everyone assumed I was okay after my lumpectomy. I haven't announced that I'm getting a mastectomy yet. And I just recently did that because everyone would be like, hope you're recovering well. And it's like, I am, but this isn't over.
Right.
Yeah. I think like if I could offer any advice to anybody that they do go through this, it's like knowing that this is probably going to be a long process and there are going to, like, I feel like people warned me, like, you're going to have people reach out to you and say this stuff. And I'm like, not my people. And it's like, sure enough, like I was shocked, but it's like, yeah, that's going to happen. I also didn't share things at one point because I'm like, I don't know how to tell people how to help me right now. You know, financially, this has been hard on me. Emotionally, this has been hard. Mentally. So it's like everything's helped as far as like people reaching out just to like talk to me. I had a girlfriend from Chicago that was like, I've been thinking about you and we haven't talked in probably years. And I was like, just the fact that you're even taking time out of your day to tell me that you're thinking of me. It meant so much.
I'm so cautious about things. I think I'm thinking about you and I'm here is like pretty bulletproof. Like when I have friends that are struggling having children, I always get, it's so tough. I never know what to say because you don't want to ask, like, what's the update? And they're like, still not pregnant. Like I would never, but then you want to know that you're thinking about them because you know they've been struggling. And I just like, you're on my mind, like is good. And I mean, you're so open where if someone hits you with like, I'm thinking about you and I'm here if you need to talk, if you need to talk, you would talk.
Yeah. And also just saying to people like, no need to respond. Like, I think most people aren't gonna be like, I can't believe you reached out and said that. I've reached out to people that like, I'm not really I have a girlfriend whose fiance left her. She's not a good friend of mine at all. It's really none of my business, but I reached out and I was like, hey, this happened to me. If you ever want to talk, let me know. And like, I couldn't believe the response. I told Ashley, I was like, I'm so nervous. And she was so touched by it. And conversely, I have a friend who unfortunately lost a partner to COVID. And I reached out and said, if you want to talk, I would love to. If not, just thinking about you. And he never responded and that's fine too. Like just letting people know, like, I'm here if you want to talk.
Yeah. I usually respond to everybody just because I want people to know it's appreciated. I've had a lot of people be like, I know someone who has cancer. Do you want to talk to them? And in that case, it's like, it's overwhelming when you first are going through something to hear about everyone else's diagnoses because it's like, that's not even mine. It's not a one size fits all. Like what worked for her. Like, I don't know her family history. I did genetic testing. I had this guy that I hooked up with in Nashville. I was like, you're really young. Have you like thought about genetic testing? I was like, okay, Eric, who touched my boobs twice. Like, yes, I've already gotten genetic testing.
Like, I meant to ask that though. So I know people are probably sitting here like, tell us about the BRCA gene. You and your mom did not have it.
Yeah,
right?
We're both negative. So when my mom actually got tested for it when she had this in 2008. And at the time it was like covered. So I think she paid like $5,000. My dad was like, what the, like, that's so expensive. She's like, I don't care. I want to know if, you know, Jennifer will have this. So I had done like a 23andMe, which also gives you back a panel for some, like for BRCA. And I was like, these were negative. It's also 23andMe. But I said that going into my genetic testing and everything came back negative, which I'm happy for. But at the same time, it keeps like, it almost would make a decision easier. Like, okay, I've got this gene. Well, this is like a no-brainer. And now it still kind of feels like, am I making the right decision? But it's like, what's the alternative? Living in fear with this hanging over me, like every single day of like, if I eat sugar, if I have more than, 4 drinks in a week, like it's been consuming.
Like looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
I would
all the time. And I definitely have like made some huge life changes. Like I haven't been drinking as much. I'm trying to get myself in a really healthy place. I mean, I was already pretty healthy. Like I worked out. I just gotten blood work done. Everything was perfect too before I even found out about all this. So I was like, oh, that would have picked up cancer. And it's like, no, it's a different kind. But I even asked an oncologist, like, did I do this from years of like partying and binge drinking in my 20s? And I worked at a PR agency and I smoked cigarettes. And did I do this? Like, did I do this to myself? And she was like, no, this isn't how this presents. Like, they don't help your health, but she was like, you need to stop beating yourself up. Like this is just something that happens in women. It was in your mom. It's in you. Who knows why? Like you can't just like beat yourself up and regret everything you've ever done up to this point.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
I love that.
I mean, I hugged her at the end of that. I was like, I needed this.
People can live their lives and smoke a pack a day and McDonald's every day and get drunk every day and live till they're 100. Like there's just no.
All my grandparents. Yeah.
That's actually usually how it works. Weirdly.
Yeah. I love your advice and your openness and just, the encouragement to get checked. And I just want to like say to our listeners, if you're going through this or you know somebody that is, or you lost a parent, I'm like really inspired by what Jenny did to just reach out and, stay on top of this and surround yourself with people who love you and support you and, ask for the help, go to the appointments, do this quickly. And I feel for people that have like lost someone or are going through this. And I can't imagine at such a young age to go through it like you and what that must feel like. And and Ashley, we really appreciate your words and your honesty and your openness.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all's friendship during all of this. I mean, really, I think y'all have taken my mind off stuff by me, being able to text you all my funny, stupid date shit, sending you dick pics. I mean, it definitely takes your mind off cancer when you're discussing dick lines.
100%. When we see that text come through on the group chat, I'm like, oh yeah.
Every day I get a dick pic from Jenny.
No, it's not every day.
It's every other day.
All right, Jenny. Well, I love you. We love you. Thank you. And let's fucking party.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Rayna. Let's see those tits.
Yes, tits out for Rayna's birthday. But that concludes our episode with Jenny. We hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, you know where to find us. girlsgottaeatpodcast.com. Get tickets to that last Philly show on July 17th. Sign up for the newsletter because we are announcing new tour dates soon and we will announce it first there. Grab the merch before we launch new merch and follow us on Instagram, Girls Gotta Eat Podcast. I'm Ash Hess on Instagram. Rayna is Rayna.Greenberg. Girls_gotta eat on Twitter and youtube.com/girls gotta eat. And we will not have a new episode on Monday, but we'll be back on the 12th. So enjoy your 4th, enjoy your holiday, your cancer season, whatever. And we will see you on the 12th.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.